What's going on, everyone? This is Vince, and today I have a video brought to you by SculptNation.com. And if you feel like you can't make much progress in the gym, or you're holding on to too much body fat, or your sex drive is lower than ever, or you frequently just seem down in the dumps and feel like you're aging faster than you should be, today I want to talk a little bit about a hormone that your body might be low on, which is testosterone. And one thing that's important to understand is that it's normal for testosterone levels to decline as you age. But scientists have discovered even more significant reasons that we experience drops in tests that have nothing to do with aging, most of which are totally out of our control, which is why low test levels are something that you should be aware of, even in, let's say, your 20s and your 30s. Now, the good news is there are easy things that you can do from home that don't require going to the doctor to slow or maybe even reverse this decline. In fact, they only require a trip to your local grocery store or a quick online checkout. And I'm going to tell you about a couple of natural herbs that, yes, may be a little harder to get your hands on, but they're super powerful, so you absolutely need to know about them. But there are also a couple of others that are easy to find that you probably have in your fridge or your pantry right now that just may not be as potent, but good nonetheless, and will still be effective in helping you get your levels back to normal.
I'ma keep on going up till the lights go down.
Okay, now before I tell you about these 5 science-backed foods and herbs, first you need to know that testosterone is crucial for your overall well-being and extremely instrumental for reaching your fitness goals. Testosterone and its effect on the human body, particularly why it declines even as you age or even why it declines when you're young, is something that researchers have been studying for decades. And there are more than 100,000 research studies on testosterone, and many of them have just been published in the last decade. And what these researchers have found is that having low test levels is associated with anything from fatigue and sleep issues to negative disruptions in mood and increased signs of aging, also a poor libido and a sluggish metabolism, excess body fat, and even the inability to properly put on lean muscle. So if you're dieting and working out but not seeing results, especially if you're experiencing any of the other issues that I just mentioned, low testosterone could be to blame. And one area that researchers have studied is how your diet can impact testosterone levels. And they found that increasing foods that contain testosterone mimicking nutrients and supplementing with certain natural herbs may help improve testosterone levels naturally. And there's 2 nutrients that seem to be especially crucial to your diet when it comes to increasing testosterone, and those are vitamin D and zinc. So starting with vitamin D, according to researchers, it can help boost testosterone levels by up to 90%. In one study, 200 healthy participants were given either a daily dose of 3,332 IUs of vitamin D or a placebo for a full year. And compared to baseline values, there was a significant increase in total testosterone levels, bioactive testosterone, and free testosterone levels in the vitamin D supplemented group. But there was no significant change in any testosterone measure in the placebo group. And one way that you can increase your vitamin D levels is to eat tuna. Tuna is rich in vitamin D, it has lots of protein, and it's typically low in calories, so it's good for dieting. And if you aren't a fan of tuna, by the way, you can also get a vitamin D boost from other fish like salmon or sardines, or you can just get a vitamin D supplement and take that every single day. Now, speaking specifically about zinc, the other seafood that can help boost test are oysters or other similar shellfish. Researchers have examined zinc's impact on testosterone using several methods. In one study, they actually restricted zinc in young, healthy men and found that after 20 weeks of low zinc, test subjects saw a significant drop in serum testosterone levels. And oysters are a great source of zinc. Plus, they are also said to be an aphrodisiac, which is any food or drink that can increase sexual desire. And if you don't like oysters, you can also get a good dose of zinc from crab. And according to National Institutes of Health, Alaskan king crab provides 43% of your daily value of zinc in just one small 3-ounce serving. And if you don't enjoy eating seafood at all, or you're worried about mercury levels, egg yolks contain a good dose of vitamin D, and beef is really high in zinc. So eating some whole eggs instead of egg whites in the morning, or even adding a burger to your diet, could actually help you a ton. Now, Another food that can actually help to improve serum levels of testosterone is one that most of you will be glad is on the list if you have a sweet tooth, and that is honey. Researchers have tested honey in both human and rodent trials, and they found that honey did, in fact, increase serum test levels, likely because it helps increase the luteinizing hormone, which is a hormone produced by the pituitary gland, and one of the main hormones that controls your reproductive system and leads to the production of other hormones such as testosterone. And another way that honey seemed to be beneficial for testosterone production in men is that it promoted healthy testicular tissue. Now, honey also contains several other bioactive compounds called phenolic acids that scientists say may contribute to improved testosterone production. Now, I will say that in both human trials, the daily dose of honey used was 20 grams per day, which is about 15 grams of carbs or 60 calories. So if you want to go that route, you just got to make sure that you set aside some carb allowance for it, or there are some calorie-free test-boosting food options that I'm going to dive into right now if you want to do these instead. So food number 3 on our list is garlic. And garlic, it has a connection with another hormone, which is your stress hormone, which is cortisol, which is super important because cortisol is produced in the adrenal gland, which is where testosterone is produced. And scientists have found that if your cortisol levels are too high, which could happen due to anything from lack of sleep to mental stress and even overtraining or extremely restrictive dieting, you could be blocking your body's ability to produce testosterone. So if your cortisol is too high, it won't matter how many oysters you eat or how much honey you put in your tea, your test could be negatively impacted. And that's why it's so important that in addition to eating foods that could potentially boost test, you should also eat foods or take supplements that reduce cortisol. And garlic has been linked to being able to do just that because it contains a compound called allicin, which scientists believe can be useful for lowering your cortisol levels. So while eating garlic won't directly boost testosterone production, it may lower the amount of cortisol in your body, which could, by association, help boost testosterone levels. All right, so those are the first 3 foods, and they're great, but these next ones are actually herbs, and they're a little harder to find, but like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, these are much more powerful than the 3 that I just gave you. So if you can get your hands on these, I highly recommend doing so. Now, the first is ginseng root. Ginseng has been used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years, and ancient medicine men often referred to it as the king of all herbs because of its long list of possible benefits for overall well-being, with sex drive being a big one. In one double-blind, placebo-controlled study, researchers recruited 45 men with varying sexual issues and found that sexual satisfaction improved after they were given red ginseng 3 times a day. Plus, ginseng has not only been studied for its potential when it comes to improved sex hormones and sexual performance, but researchers have also shown that it can be helpful for your cardiovascular, your endocrine, and your immune systems, with the potential to help fight fatigue, to enhance concentration, to support a healthy immune response, and enhance blood circulation. So how do you go about including ginseng root in your diet? Well, you can find it at some specialty grocery stores and eat it raw, or you can stew it into your tea, but most people don't enjoy the taste because it's pretty bitter, so supplementing with it is probably going to be your best bet, not only for your taste buds, but just to ensure that you get enough of it. And I'll tell you a very effective way to go about doing that here in just a second, but first I have one more test boosting food to tell you about because there's 5 of these. And I've saved the best for last, and this is one that you probably won't find at your local grocery store, but I'm going to tell you where you can easily get your hands on some here in just a second. But what I'm talking about is the adaptogen herb ashwagandha. And this is another one of those herbs that ancient medicine men have used for thousands of years. And researchers have been examining ashwagandha's potential benefits for a while now, looking at everything from just general overall well-being to lowering excess inflammation and increasing muscle strength and size and decreasing stress, and probably its most sought-after potential benefit, its potential ability to boost testosterone. Researchers are really intrigued by ashwagandha because they found that it can not only increase testosterone directly, but also indirectly because of the connection to cortisol that I told you about. But let's start with how ashwagandha may directly increase test levels, because that's the most exciting. In one 2015 study, scientists found testosterone levels of active men who took the root extract of ashwagandha were over 5 times higher than those who didn't. And in this study, they also found that the test subjects that supplemented with ashwagandha saw significant increases in muscle mass and strength, a greater reduction of exercise-induced muscle damage, and even a significantly greater decrease in body fat percentage compared to the placebo group. Also, one of the most recent published studies was done in 2019. It was a double-blind, placebo-controlled study that examined the hormonal and vitality effects of ashwagandha in aging overweight men. And the study demonstrated that ashwagandha supplementation over 8 weeks resulted in 15% higher levels of testosterone. And indirectly, researchers have found ashwagandha may be able to help you maintain balanced test levels because of its potential to be a cortisol-reducing agent. One study found ashwagandha lowered subjects' cortisol levels by as much as 25%, which, remember, is important because too much cortisol can block your body's ability to produce testosterone. And ashwagandha is well known for its ability to help you manage stress levels, and high stress is one way that your cortisol can get out of control. Now, like I said, this isn't just a normal herb that's just sitting in a regular grocery store, therefore supplementing with it is usually the best way to go. But the thing to look out for when taking ashwagandha is quality and potency. Many ashwagandha supplements on the market are whole herb, which isn't nearly as potent as an extract, and this can be hard to figure out simply by looking at a label unless the label clearly states that the ashwagandha comes from a branded extract. Branded extracts are always better than a generic one because in order for a branded ingredient to be issued a patent, their brand must have some sort of unique benefit. This could be anything from the delivery method to it being more bioavailable or more potent. But whatever makes their brand special, they have to be able to back up the claim or they won't be issued their patent. So when supplementing with ashwagandha, I would look for a patented brand called KSM66 because this is the highest potency ashwagandha extract on the market, drawn only from the root. And this form is something that I personally use to help keep my levels in an optimal state year-round, no matter how much stress I'm facing on a day-to-day basis. And it's pretty easy to add some tuna or shellfish to your diet, yes. Garlic is something that you probably season your foods with a lot anyways, and honey is showing tons of promise to boost test if you're willing to sacrifice the extra calories. But those last two that I just mentioned, Ginseng Root and especially KSM66 ashwagandha, those are two herbs that are really showing promise in helping boost test levels, but unfortunately aren't as easy to get at your local grocery store or just from everyday foods. And that's why when we created our Test Boost supplement at Sculpt Nation, we made sure that we didn't leave those herbs out of our blend. And of course, that's not all that we included in our Test Boost product. There are a lot of other powerful herbs that scientists have been researching that show promise in boosting test levels. And our formulation team looked at studies of all sizes and spent months going through data from some of the top researchers in the world, and then narrowed it down to a total of 8 scientifically backed natural ingredients in ratios that are clinically documented to help support healthy testosterone levels. Things like horny goatweed and Tribulus terrestris and long jackroot and hawthorn berry, eleuthero root, cordyceps mushrooms, and you've probably never heard of those, but I'll let you know right now, you definitely can't just pick all these up at your local supermarket. But these all are natural herbs that people have used for centuries to help enhance blood flow, to help support healthy testosterone levels, and to increase endurance and libido, with studies backing them all as well. And you can find them all in a single daily dose of Sculpt Nation Test Boost. And if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description box right below if you want to get your own supply today. But if you find yourself constantly struggling to have enough energy to get through the day, let alone make it to the gym, but then no matter how exhausted you are, you still can't seem to sleep through the night, or you just seem to be on edge or sad or more uptight than usual, or you've noticed a decrease in sexual desire, or you're having issues losing weight, or you're having a tough time putting on muscle, or even losing muscle despite killing it in the gym, it could be low testosterone, even if you're otherwise healthy and in your 20s or 30s. Also, by the way, if you do end up trying some of our Test Boost formula, we do offer a lifetime money-back guarantee on all of our supplements. So if you don't think it's working for you, just send it back for a refund. But if you don't want to try it, that's fine. At least you now know a couple of simple everyday foods that you can start eating to get your testosterone levels where you want them to be. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure that you're clicking that thumbs up button below and comment with what you're personally struggling with, and maybe I can make a video to address your specific issue. And then also make sure you're subscribing to the channel and clicking that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.